Hi guys, my name is Peter and welcome to our channel. Today I'd like to show you a modification I got done probably a couple weeks ago or so for my Sega Dreamcast controller, actually for this guy. This is the original one. I just want to show you. I mean, it's a nice controller, and don't get me wrong, it's a nice controller. Everything looks and feels really nice, kind of organized. I mean, layout is pretty good, but for my big hands, kind of feels a little bit cramped, you know, a little bit too small. Plus analog controller, I mean itself, it has a little texture. I'm pretty sure the camera probably is gonna pick it up, but it doesn't feel kind of right. I mean, it's good when you get used to. You're not feeling any problem, but probably 4 or 5 years ago, in a used game store, I picked up this controller. It's made by Performance, and I mean, you can tell it's slightly bigger. Well, actually, it's not slightly; it's probably a lot bigger. Kinda, it's almost inch. I should call probably inch and a half wider. I'm sorry. Let me put it like that. You see, it's much wider and slightly taller. But the thing is, this controller, it's much more comfortable. I mean, in my hands fits nice. I mean, it fits perfect, you know. I mean, especially analog, it feels really nice because the analog knob is bigger and it has that concave shape right in the middle. When you put your thumb, it feels really nice. Plus, because the knob itself is bigger and taller, the traveling space it has more. That means it feels like you can make moves more precise. Like I said, it was a nice controller. It did serve well for last 5-6 years or so, and then start getting problem with analog switch itself. Let me show you the analog switch. It's kind of plasticky, and it's really weird size and shape. It's not a standard one like any other. Let me show you a standard. Here I believe from GameCube, or actually Nintendo Wii Pro controller, because I did no, it's a GameCube style I believe. Anyway, or it's let me show you PS2 controller switch. You see, this one is much taller, a little bit bigger, but the thing is, and all plastic besides the center pin. It start getting too loose, you can tell. Plus, even from day one, it was always spins. And I mean, about spinning issue, I kind of get used to. But then when with a lot of mileage, that analog start kind of wobbling around, I didn't like it because you not can make a really precise move. Anyway, I ripped the controller apart and recognized it has the weird switch. Before I thought I was gonna replace it with a PlayStation 1 or GameCube. Especially GameCube, it should work no problem. But then when I opened, I faced it with that issue. Well, let me open it, this controller, and it's gonna show you how I did. Okay guys, I believe I got everything. Actually, one screw fell out. Anyway, let me remove it. The knob itself, you see, it's analog switch from Nintendo Wii Pro controller. I did have one of those with some issue. Pretty much it's useless. It's good for parts. And when I opened that controller, like I mentioned, I recognized it's a different switch, non-standard one. I never see before that style. Pretty much I decided to use it Nintendo Switch Pro controller. I'm sorry, Nintendo Wii Pro controller switch, trim it, glue it back to original bracket, because the original switch was mounted to the plastic bracket. I have to glue it, center it, align it the way I thought it's gonna be perfect, and glue it. But then about knob, let me show you. You see how big that knob itself. I mean that plastic bell, if you can call that, it's much bigger. And Nintendo Wii Pro controller it has bell smaller than PS2. What I did, I used all an analog knob from PS2. I also did have a couple of them with missing rubber cap. Cut the stud, the cap itself off, just leave it a bell and glue it inside. Because original Switch, you see, has a rounded pin, not like a GameCube, a Nintendo Wii, PS2, PS1 standard style stud. I have to adapt it somehow to be able original knob mounted on a Nintendo style Switch. And basically, you see, it fits no problem the way it's supposed to be. And then to get a right height, let me show you again. To get a right height, make sure it will not ground inside the housing. Make sure it will tilts back and forth with no grounding sound. I have to trim it that stud a little bit to lower it knob to make sure it fits the way it's supposed to be. Let me remove those 3 screws and I will show you a switch behind, because there's some little wiring I have to do a little bit differently. It's not like straightforward. When I was doing that mod, I thought the wiring for original Switch was standard as same as GameCube, Nintendo Wii, Pro controller, PS2 controller, and it's slightly different. Those little tracer line, I have to cut them off and to use the wire. But still, in the end, it's working the way it's supposed to be. It's also using a 4-wire, same as the original configuration. Like I said, that mod, it took me half hour to do, maybe slightly less. But believe me, controller works the way it's supposed to be, and I really like that controller instead original. At least in my case, like I mentioned before, my hand's kinda big. It's not big as a Bigfoot, of course, but it's a little bit big than average, I should call. Anyway, guys, I hope you do enjoyed our video about that mod for Sega Dreamcast controller. If you do, thumbs up. If you don't want to miss any future videos, subscribe. We will really appreciate it. Thank you and have a great day. Bye bye.